Bizarre Brain Comics. Hello my comic book friends, and welcome to Bizarre Brain Comics. I'm Gary, your host, and this is where I like to take a look at some older comics, talk a little bit about the characters and creators, and examine the stories and the art. And this time, I want to revisit an old friend. It's E-Man in E-Man number 19 from 1984 from First Comics. And this is from the October issue of E-Man. And with a title like Hoodoo Blues. Oh, you know, it's a Halloween-oriented story. So it fits right in with the spooky month. I was saving this just for that. Yeah, I've covered a couple of issues of E-Man before. And just in case you don't know who E-Man is, well, it started at Charlton Comics, created by Nicola Cuti and Joe Staton. And I guess Joe Staton still owns the rights to the character. After the fall of Charlton Comics, they moved on to First Comics in the 80s, early 80s. And started all over with the character. And I don't know what they're doing. I guess E-Man is just in limbo right now. And you can see this great spooky type cover by Joe Staton with the undead creeping from its grave after the unconscious form of Nova Kane. Yes, Nova Kane, of course, is E-Man's girlfriend, and for a time she had energy powers herself, but now she's back to being regular human. And also remember, E-Man is not your everyday superhero story. This is with social and cultural satire, and everything is with tongue planted firmly in cheek, and they poke a lot of fun at pop culture, especially in the comics, once in a while. And just so that you know that at this point, Nova Kane, they're living in Chicago, and Nova Kane is, when she started out in E-Man, she was an exotic dancer, which means stripper, but now she is a TV horror host. Yes, like Svengoolie, and like Elvira. This is at the time when Elvira was doing real well, and so the whole concept is inspired by Elvira. And of course, it's spooky stuff. And of course, they have, I don't know where they got the little koala bear, Teddy, intelligent little koala bear. I don't know. I must have missed that somewhere, but he's his mainstay now. And of course, there is Michael Mauser, the private eye that both Nova and E-Man sometimes works with, and sometimes he has solo backup series in the E-Man comics. And that's what I talked about last time. Oh, so here we have E-Man in Hoodoo Blues. It always got satire. E-Man's Russian. He's he's trying to get to the TV stations, to the studio, because Nova Kane is pre-screening a zombie movie for the her upcoming program. Mike Mauser's there, and E-Man is supposed to get there, and he uses the name Electron to get there in time. Well, and goofy stuff ensues with Teddy and Mike Mauser. E-Man gets there and says, am I too late? And it says, it's already screened most of the... Come on. Open up. There we go. The blood penguin. And they're talking about that stuff. Meanwhile, about the movie and setting up for... She needs to go get some stuff for her show, for some props and the like. So here we cut the scene to where our main story is going to be, or revolving around our main story is Bucket of Blues. You can see there is a nightclub. It's a blues nightclub, and it has a sign there that says Rattlesnake Roscoe Live. Well, the owner of the club, he is being harassed by this local bunch of gang toughs, and he's frightened. They have frightened off most of his customers and most of his talent. But then Rattlesnake Roscoe, he shows up and they try to hassle him. He don't hassle so easily, so the punk kid pulls a gun and he just blows Roscoe away. Ooh. Meanwhile, Nova and Alec have gone to a voodoo store because it involves zombies and voodoo and stuff in the movie. So she's looking for some stuff, for some props. She asks for a couple things, most particularly black cat bones. That's critical. And she buys a couple things. Meanwhile, the owner of that store goes to see the local hoodoo man. And he's surrounded by all his zombies that he has made the walking dead, living dead, yes, undead. And he asks, he wants some information and some stuff. And said, oh, but you need because he wants to bring Roscoe back from the dead to play for his club. But need the particular ingredients, one of which is the black cat's bone. Meanwhile, they're doing shooting some of the interstitial stuff for her movie host gig, and with Novocaine, and then stuff going on, goofy stuff. Meanwhile, this has nothing to do with the plot. Mike Mauser's looking for a new office space. Cassandra's Comics and Stories. And there's a pun in there because Cassandra is the real name of Elvira. But then go into the comic shop, and here we have a little slap at Marvel with the Phoenix stuff, because the owner of the store is dressed up in a parody of the Phoenix costume, and he rents the crappy office space. Meanwhile, he's trying to get the nightclub owner goes to the hoodoo place, and the voodoo store, and to get the ingredients he needs. Well, he just sold his last black cat bone to Novocaine, so they send the other zombies after Nova. Ooh, they snatch Nova. Well, not yet. They try to snatch Nova, but they snatch Teddy. And they're fight. These guys are easy to trip. Knocking them over. Seeing she's in her costume for the show. That's what I did there. And he goes and saves the Teddy. And but then they're curious. Maybe it has something to do with it. Involved, since they're kind of zombies, maybe it has something to do with that hoodoo place. He goes to the voodoo store, overhears stuff, but meanwhile the hoodoo doctor has put a little spell on Nova, and so then E-Man goes to the store, to the nightclub, and he is harassed outside and says, "This is the wrong place for a white boy," and so he turns around and he makes himself, because he's not really human, and he is no race. He just chooses that face. So he altered himself to fit in there, and but he did it in front of them. So he's doing, he cleans house with them. Meanwhile, then he's inside waiting for people to show up to ask some questions. But meanwhile, they raise Roscoe, Rattlesnake Roscoe, from the dead. And Nova's done with her stuff. And she shows up there to back up E-Man. And then the crowd is there. And there's Rattlesnake Roscoe. But the gangbanger said, "You can't be real. I killed you." So he shoots him in the head. Shoots him again. But that don't stop him. E-Man catches the bad guys, and Roscoe sings the blues, but the dead man's blues. Which is more terrible than any kind of blues, and scares the crap right out of everybody, and everyone runs out of the bucket of blues, and they're just crying and stuff because it's so bluesy. And then he even have the lyrics to a whole song here called "Zombie Blues" by Alec Walden. I'm not going to go into that. So they captured the guy who killed Roscoe. Unfortunately, the club owner lost his club, because once you started, you can't stop him. And he's there singing the dead man's blues forever. And they boarded up the place, and that's when Alec and Nova makes them talk about a little bit about mortality, mostly her mortality, because he doesn't even know if he can die. And that's it. That is our voodoo zombie-filled adventure with E-Man and Nova Kane in Hoodoo Blues. Woo! That's what I got for you this time. Just a little bit of fun. We're starting soft and sliding into some of the harder stuff as the month progresses for spooky October. So please like, share, subscribe, leave a comment. Please do leave your comments below, and remember, comics are art.